What's up, you sweaty nerds and greasy degenerates? Hanya is coming out in Honkai Star Rail really darn soon, so it's time to go ahead and take a look at a pre-release guide for Hanya, the skill point generator. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the different light cones that we can slap onto our Hanya. First, let's take a look at what her ultimate does really quick. Her ultimate looks very darn cool, but it also increases an ally's speed and attack for a certain number of turns. We don't know the exact number of turns, but we know it's at least more than one. The rest of her kit very heavily revolves around skill point generation, how we get those different things, different triggers, yada yada yada. You get the picture. So with that in mind, that will help us understand how we want to build the character, as well as what light cones we might want to use. And I first need to point out here that depending on your team strategy, depending on your team composition, depending on the different speeds of your team, this will completely change what light cone you're going to want to use, what harmony characters you're going to want to use, and what turn order you're going to want to use, depending on what your strategy is. So there isn't one single light cone that's up here right now that is better than another for the character, because every situation is going to be different. Harmony characters are very diverse in the way that we use them, and this is going to change what light cones we might want to use. For example, Dance 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 is a really good light cone. It gives you actions advance forward, which a lot of people interpret as a speed buff, but which in most cases that is kind of like what it does. But here's the thing. Buffing your speed only does so much. Eventually, you're going to hit certain caps, and then you'll get diminishing returns on your speed. But actions advance forward is better, because even if you hit certain speed thresholds, you will still get your actions advance forward. This is what makes Dance 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 so good. However, if your entire team is already built very heavily into speed, you may not necessarily need to buff your entire team with speed. Remember one thing with Hanya's ultimate is that it actually buffs your main DPS's speed if you use it on your main DPS, which is what you're going to do. So you may not necessarily need Dance 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 on your Hanya, because you're already going to be buffing your main DPS's speed anyway, right? And she's already going to be very skill point efficient, so you don't necessarily need your rest of your team to be skill point generators all of the time. So Dance 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 is a really good light cone, and it's going to work on several different teams that Hanya will want to be on, but it may not be the one for you depending on your scenario. Let's take a look at Memories of the Past. It increases the wearer's break effect by 56% at S5. When the wearer attacks, it additionally regenerates 8 energy. This effect cannot be repeatedly triggered in a single turn. This is going to be really good for Hanya, because not only can she get to her ultimate faster through this energy regeneration, this is a very, very solid cone. A lot of Harmony characters best in slot, but it also gives you this break effect. And Hanya is a physical type character, so whenever she breaks an enemy's shield, this is going to be a very big bonus for you. It's actually going to deal some pretty decent damage. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other option that's very similar, Meshing Cogs. At S5, after the wearer uses attacks or gets hit, so there's the either or, it additionally regenerates 8 energy. This effect cannot be repeatedly triggered in a single turn. So even if you get CC'd, you'll still get the 8 energy off of Meshing Cog. So if energy's all you need, Meshing Cogs is typically better, because even in a bad scenario, you still get the energy back if you're hit or CC'd. It doesn't give you that break effect, but some of you probably don't even care about that break effect, right? So Meshing Cogs is still good. Yes, your stats aren't going to be as good because there's a 3-star light cone, but I mean, it's not that bad. You can, level your character, right? So let's take a look at Past and Future. The reason why I like this is for a simple synergy that we can create with it. And I've never even mentioned Past and Future before, probably, and there's reasons for that. But check this out. When the wearer uses their skill, the next ally taking action, except the wearer, deals 32% increased damage for 1 turn. So think about it like this. You lay down Hanya's skill, right? And then the next ally that attacks gets a 32% damage buff. That ally attacks the enemy with burden that you just applied burden to, and you end up one-shotting that enemy. And then, because of something that Hanya has in her kit, check this out, she has a trace. When enemies with burden are defeated, if burden's skill point recovery trigger count is fewer than a certain amount, it additionally recovers a certain number of skill points. So just because you don't do this little, what is it, the 3-tap, you can technically hit the same enemy a bunch of times and get a bunch of triggers, get a bunch of skill points back. The thing is, if you defeat the enemy, you still get a bunch of skill points back anyway. So there's an interesting synergy that occurs with past and future where you might be able to just apply burden to an enemy, one-shot them with the next ally, get all those skill points back, and then some, right? Generate more skill points than you used, and then reapply burden to a new enemy with Hanya, the next chance you get. Rather than sit around and have to repeatedly go into the same enemy, taking forever to get your skill points back, right? This is actually pretty solid synergy. If skill point generation is more important to you than energy, past and future is actually a really solid option. What this does is this also can work with but the battle isn't over, except the battle isn't over is technically better. It increases the wearer's energy regeneration rate by 10%, so you're getting energy. And it regenerates 1 skill point when the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally, which is exactly what Hanya does. And this effect can be triggered once every 2 uses of the wearer's ultimate. That part kind of stinks, not as efficient as getting skill points back as Hanya is. However, you are going to get 10% energy regeneration rate, so you are going to get to your ultimate faster, which is nice. And when the wearer uses their skill, the next ally taking action, except the wearer, deals 30% more damage for 1 turn. Sound familiar? That's because at S1, this actually does the same thing that past and future does at S5, only it has like several other paragraphs attached to it. So past and future is going to be kind of like a budget version of But the Battle Isn't Over for that synergetic situation with Hanya that I was telling you about earlier. Now, because of this, I think if skill point generation is something you care about, But the Battle Isn't Over is going to be the one for you. This is actually a really good cone for Hanya, very good cone for Hanya. If energy regeneration is all that you care about for Hanya, I think Memories of the Past is going to be the one for you because you also get that nice break effect bonus. The CCing thing with meshing cogs, like getting that just in case you get CC'd, you get that extra little bit just in case. It's not probably going to be as valuable as that little extra damage you get from Memories of the Past, but not everybody has Memories of the Past at S5, so meshing cogs is going to be the one for you in that scenario. So and then Dance, 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 of course, if you want speed for your whole team and speed for your whole team is what you really want, I think this is the option for you. So that's what I think you have to think about there with the light cones for Hanya. Do you want skill point generation? I think if that's all you care about, But the Battle Isn't Over is the one you want. And Memories of the Past and meshing cogs is for energy regeneration that you might want, and Dance, Dance, Dance is for speed of the whole team you might want. And if you don't have But the Battle Isn't Over, but you are a skill point generation fiend, then maybe past and future might be up your alley. So those are the light cones. There you go. All right, now let's take a look at some of the different relics that we can slap onto our Hanya. First, I want to take a look at the main relic sets. Then I want to take a look at the planar sets. Then we'll take a look at the main stats and the substats after that. Now, there's been a lot of speculation around Hanya and what she may or may not be scaling with for certain abilities that she has. Now, I'm not here to speculate. I'm not here to make predictions necessarily. Because I don't think it matters, right? I think that there's a really good relic set that does everything you could possibly be worried about. Let's take a look at it because I think this might be her best in slot. The 4-piece Musketeer set. Surprise, surprise. Yet another character that benefits from the 4-piece Musketeer. Let's take a look at it. The 2-piece gives you an attack bonus of 12%, and the 4-piece gives you a speed boost of 6%, and a basic attack damage increase of 10%. So if she scales with attack, you have attack. If she scales with speed, you got speed. And she's also, after she uses her skill, she's going to end up switching to using her basic attack. And when you do that, you'll get a 10% damage bonus on her basic attack as well. So this just does value. It does everything, okay? Now, you might be a madman and not want to use the 4-piece musketeer because perhaps you have 2 really amazing musketeer pieces and 2 really amazing hacker space pieces, and you've gotten really, really good substats on those. That wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing because it effectively does the same thing. Speed boost of 6%, attack boost of 12%. You will lose out on this 10% basic attack damage, but that might not necessarily matter to you. She's not a DPS, so who cares, right? So stats matter. Stats matter, and if you happen to have maybe a 2-piece musketeer that's busted and a 2-piece hacker space that's also busted, maybe go with that, okay? Because it's really important to remember the most important stat on her is speed, speed, speed. She wants to go so fast. She's a fast girl, and you gotta keep up with her, okay? Give her some speed. That's what she wants, all right? Give her what she wants. She wants speed. So build some speed boots on her for sure, without a question. I wouldn't even be looking at attack boots. Just put speed boots on her. That's my opinion. So let's take a look at the planar sets now, because I believe that's the end all be all. Just put the musketeer set on her, in my opinion. So I think you should take a look at the Herta Space Station set, because it effectively will give you 24% extra attack, and depending on what she scales with, I think she's going to scale with like probably different things depending on what she's doing, right? So when she gives you a buff with your attack, I imagine it's probably going to scale with her attack too. So I'd probably put the Herta Space Station set on her because it effectively gives you 24% extra attack, and that will help her scaling when she does buff your characters right on your team, your allies. Now you could take a look at the Fleet of the Ageless set as well. It gives her a 12% HP bonus, giving her a little bit more survivability, and it also gives an attack increase to all allies of 8%. The only reason why I think you would use this set, though, in my opinion, is if you're going to pair her onto a DOT team, because DOTs scale off of attack, and this would help your entire squad. That's when it starts to give you a lot of really good return if you were to use this with her on a DOT team. If you're not using her on a DOT team, I probably wouldn't be using this. I'd probably just go ahead and switch back over to the Herta Space Station set. Now let's take a look at the other 2 that we might want to consider for her depending on what we have going on. Now, if you want her to get her ultimate really, really fast, you may want to consider using the new Penacony set. It gives you 5% extra energy regeneration rate. And if you have any other allies on your team that are the same damage type as her, which in this case would be physical, then that character would get a 10% damage bonus. So if you got a Su Shang, Luca, or Argenti, then maybe you would want to use this because you would give them an extra 10% damage bonus, and it would give her a 5% energy regeneration rate bonus, giving her ultimate faster, allowing you to buff that same character that's already getting buffed through this more buff. So this could end up being the one that you want to use depending on your team compositions. Harmony characters are very diverse in how we could use them, so this might be the planar set for you depending on what you have going on. Don't forget, not everything is a best in slot. Sometimes the best in slot for you changes depending on your strategy when you are in battle. Just remember that. Now, this set is not as good in my opinion. Let's take a look at it though. Firmament Frontline increases the wearer's attack by 12% when the wearer's speed is equal to or higher than 135 or 160. The wearer either gets 12% or 18% more damage respectively. Her damage is not that important, so in my opinion, this set just isn't as good. What's good about it is the 12% attack, but you could get 24% attack from the Herta Space Station set. So I think that just kind of like knocks the other one off the shelf and keeps the Herta Space Station in our sights. I think that's what we would want to probably use, is either one of the Herta Space Station or potentially the Penacony set, or if you're going to use her on a DOT team, maybe Fleet of the Ageless. That's really up to you though. So I'd probably be looking at Herta Space Station or the Penacony. That's probably what I would use in my opinion. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the substats, right? So speed, 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 speed. That's literally the most important stat on her is speed. So speed, speed. Then, of course, you can build maybe like attack on her, attack percent. That's good. You want to see attack percent. And then maybe some break effect, maybe effect res. Like maybe effect res is good on her as well. Defense, obviously, or HP are also very good options as well. The reason why HP and defense are so good on Harmony characters is because sometimes they don't have the best HP or defense stats, and you don't want them to go down. You don't want them to die. How many times have you guys seen a Ting Yun go down and it just ruins your whole day? So that's why people started building Tank Yun, right? So that their characters don't go down and they have better survivability. You can't win if your characters go down, right? So put a little survivability on your characters and they're going to love you forever for it, okay? That was substats. I went a little out of order here. Let's go ahead and look at the main stats now. Speed boots, easily speed boots. That's what you want. Now, for the sphere, I'm thinking attack sphere, and there's no other sphere. Attack sphere is what you're going to want so that it scales better with what she has. Now, for the rope, you might have a different option here other than attack percent rope. Because, yes, that might give you better scaling, but you might want to get her ultimate faster. And then if you're really, really trying to get her ultimate faster, like there's two ideas, right? There's building her for better scaling, giving her a ton of attack or whatever. And then there's building her faster ultimate, right? And you're not going to want to split this up too much. You're either going to want to do like really good scaling, or you're going to want to do really fast ult. And if you're going to do really fast ult, obviously they're going to want to put an energy regeneration rate rope on her. That's what you're going to want to use if you are trying to build that fast ult. However, you may want to put an attack rope on her if you want better scaling. That's really up to you and what strategy you are going with. So that's what I'd say. Attack, and then speed, or attack. What is it? Attack, regeneration rate, and then speed. And then, of course, obviously with the body, attack percent body, that's an easy given right there. Now, as far as character synergies go, she is a support character, so you want to pair her with a really solid DPS character. And because she's able to generate skill points, you're going to want to put her with a skill point hungry DPS character. Someone, and the first person that comes to mind for me, is Dan Heng in Bitter Lune. Probably the most, definitely the most skill point hungry character in the entire game. If you can believe it, I had people in the comments of my videos trying to tell me that he's not skill point hungry, because apparently they're insane. This guy's very skill point hungry, and Hanya fixes all of those problems for him. He's going to love Hanya. These two are going to be dating on the weekends. It's going to be great. Now, another character that's pretty skill point hungry, but she's more efficient about it, is Seela. Seela's pretty skill point hungry because she gets those extra turns. She wants to blow through all the skill points you've ever seen, and this could be a really good pairing as well as someone like Seela. Now, she's a Harmony character, right? So she can pair with just about any DPS and still be good, but those are like the first two characters that really come to mind as being very skill point hungry. Maybe Kafka is also very skill point hungry because she's just a character you always like need to be hitting your skill with every single turn, because that's how she works. She detonates DOTs with her skill. So maybe someone like Kafka as well. But again, she can pair together with just about any DPS character and perform well. But the skill point hungry characters are the ones that will benefit the most from having Hanya on your team. So let me know if you're going to be pulling for Hanya, and if you are, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you win your 50-50. I'm definitely going to be pulling for Hanya on both of my accounts. Do I think she's going to be the best Harmony character in the game? Probably not, but she might be the best Harmony character for certain characters like Dan Heng and Bitter Lune. She's also fucking hot, so I'm definitely going to be pulling this character. Again, let me know if you are too. Anyways, if you found this video helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. Because if you do, Hanya might let you touch her butt. Anyways, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.